Welcome to Mother of Mammals podcast with your host, Bria. We as a family are now in the last academic term that our 9-year-old child will be in school. He has been in the same school since he was 3 years old and was in the daycare attached to the school since he was 2. This has been a slow, joint decision as a family. Personally, I have wanted to homeschool for a few years now. It's been a joint decision because I believe at the age my child is, he had the final say to whether he choose to go to school or not, and he was choosing to go to school. In the end, I had to take the lead and make the final decision. I just, as a parent, didn't feel comfortable sending my child daily into this institution. Although I feel like he is safe and relatively happy there, I'm aware that at the age of 9, so many developments will soon be happening with him. And it just didn't sit right for me to have him within this institution for such a huge amount of his life. There are so many things wrong with the school personally, which I'm not going to focus on today. I'm going to focus on what we're looking forward to. So much information that I find is from people who have already taken that leap. So I wanted to give the perspective of someone who has their child still attending school and what my hopes are for going into homeschooling. The first thing that I am hugely looking forward to, mainly for my son, is to be able to get the sleep that he needs. Every morning, even though some days it seems to be a natural wake up for him, I'm just not ready to move. I just need that slow start. I need to just relax my mind and my body. My words on what I'm seeing from him, not his. But we don't have that option. It's a bit of a jump out of bed, let's get ready situation. I'm aware of these tween years having so many mental developments and very soon coming a lot of physical developments for him. That really, I feel the only way that he is going to develop naturally in a healthy way is that if he has the time to sleep when he needs to sleep. Right now, we can't fit more sleep in for him. He actually goes to bed between 7 and 8 p.m. and then wakes up at 6. That's a lot of sleep, but not enough. Also, I say we as a family because having our child in school affects us all. I am also a mother to a 2-year-old toddler who also needs a lot more sleep than what she's getting. But I'm having to wake her up before her natural body clock is doing so. She also sleeps very, very well and has a bedtime similar to our son's. So it feels a bit impossible to slip an earlier bedtime in. On the subject of time and health and your body's general needs, there's something that I didn't really put that much thought into, but I find my children have both had not major dental problems, but sometimes I worry about their teeth. And I'm aware the best way to look after their teeth is brush them twice a day. The first time being in the morning, brush your teeth, wait 45 minutes until you eat or drink anything. I'm not able to do this. Literally, we have to wake up, have breakfast, get ready for school, brush our teeth, out. This means to me that their dental hygiene is not being met. That 45 minutes before something to eat just is generally not possible. All these little signs that I think you don't go into deep thought about, but it makes a difference. My opinion on just the general education system is so much of it is a complete waste of time as individuals. I think as society, what it's built to do is train people up to work in the capitalistic system. 7 hours of education a day is a lot. My son's been doing this since he was 3 years old. It just, yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. 7 hours of education, 5 days a week for a 3-year-old, and also for a 9-year-old. It's a lot. I worry that there's not time to live life, which I have to say, I believe is what the system is built to do. It feels like the pressure is put on children to achieve so much within those hours. It's not possible for them to achieve it. So the majority of children that I am around are also adding extra curriculum after school activities. So maybe bringing their 7 hours a day to 8, 9, 10 hours. We have to remember that there's only 24 hours in the day. Getting a good, reasonable sleep, eating, just a bit of family time, bit of alone time. It feels like all of that can't be fit in this day. So something's got to give. I really struggle to discuss with people the impacts of adults and children's mental health. We throw this kind of demand on them and we expect them to be okay. But as a society, I find that there's a massive avoidance to the actual problems. What they do is they say, well, this month is Children's Mental Health Week or Men's Mental Health Week. It's kind of just brushing everything out the way. I'm not into that, just in general as a person, but definitely not as a parent. Deal with the problem. How are people not going to come out with huge mental health problems when they just can't rest? Rest is important. As a family, in school, we do that 5 days a week. Parents are fitting in work around that. When the weekend comes, those 2 days, we are homebodies. We just like to stop and relax and let our body recover and just be within ourselves. This is so important to us, but it also means that we might be missing out on social things with others. So I'm also looking forward to being available on weekends when others are available, to be able to join our friends and socialize a bit more. Academically speaking, I do believe that you need basic skills. You need to learn how to read and to write and to do basic maths just to be able to move around the world. Beyond that, I think that you need to learn a lot about life, but I don't see school teaching it. I look forward to saying to my child, what is it that interests you? Let me give you the support. Let me give you that material. do the work and find out what that is. I always imagined that that would just be amazing if you could spend your time doing that thing that you love. I thought that I was actually achieving this by sending my child to a Montessori school where they would be able to lead their education in the stuff that they're interested in. Sadly, this just was not the case at all. There are some other basic things that I think that you need because to me it's very important that my children stand for humanity. To stand for humanity, I think you have to know history. I feel the way that you should learn history is you learn your own. You learn your own history and you go backwards. You do modern history and then you can see how it relates to the rest of the world, and you start with your own history. You learn modern history and you work backwards. Being able to make links and seeing how it works to the rest of the world. I find the history that they actually teach in school a lot of the time just doesn't relate. But not only does it not relate, it's designed to make you think and believe certain things which are just simply not true. A huge part of our lives as a family is learning slowly and deeply how to decolonize ourselves. So that history that they've got to teach us in school does the opposite to that. I look forward to teaching my children self-worth. Personally, my experience of the school where my son has attended, teaching self-worth, it doesn't work for them. I need my child to have basic skills in life. And already we do this, but I will teach my child how to cook. And when you really think about it, most children want to. It can be an annoyance that they're asking to help out. And when you tell them time and time again, no, let me just get on with this. I just need to do this because then this needs to happen and this needs to happen. Then eventually they just stop asking. But those times when you say, yeah, put an apron on and come and help me, it's a wonderful experience. They love it. It's great bonding time. They are learning so much by these practices. With the idea that we'll be entering into being a homeschool family, I'm slightly changing the way that we do it. So now, when we're cooking and cooking from, say, a recipe, I will give my child that recipe and I'll say, okay, well, this recipe is for 8 people and we need to make it for 3. And he will do the maths, do the real life maths. He actually really enjoys numbers. So this is another positive thing that he's able to now put this into real life skills. He has such a feeling of accomplishment when we all sit down to eat that meal. We all appreciate each other. We say thank you. We say what we like about it. That is the kind of self-worth that I want my child to have. He likes doing stuff like arranging the bed, putting the pillows out and making the covers straight. He feels a great sense of achievement in that. And that's great at weekends, but weekdays it's just jump up, let's get out, and I'll just deal with this when we get home. Not actually teaching him a lot. The other thing that I really want for my children, which is kind of sadly radical these days, is to be able to eat food that's not going to harm them. Therefore, a part of our life at home is our kitchen garden. We do bits of this, but I tend to do a lot of it in the day when my child is at school. So I really look forward to him participating in that. And I think that it also teaches you loads of science skills, nature, this is the kind of person that I want to raise. Mother of Mammals podcast is sponsored by her sister company, Citizen of the World ABC. I've designed a set of beautifully illustrated alphabet cards. Here at Mother of Mammals and Citizen of the World ABC, I believe to have a true understanding of the world around us, we need to be seeing links. For example, to discuss climate change is to discuss xenophobia, capitalism, natives, propaganda, education, questioning, history, justice, activism, voting, war, diversity, trees, immigration, and so on. Purposely printed as cards so each subject can be placed side by side. These are thought-provoking alphabet cards suitable for all ages, so the levels of conversation can be age or stage appropriate. You can purchase a pack from citizenoftheworldabc.com. You'll find the details in the episode notes. Another thing that I think that I would like my child when he is an adult, or both of them when they are adults, is to have a roof over their heads. A basic human need. But I want them to have a roof over their head, which doesn't come with shitloads of anxiety of how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the mortgage? Is someone just going to walk in and chuck me out at any point with maybe just a 1 month's notice if I'm lucky? We talk about the level of anxiety that we have in life, but we don't talk about how life is set up for this. So we, as self-builders, intend to get our children involved in building houses, building a home for themselves. As parents, we're quite practical people. So with our practical skills, we know how to save money. Your shelf needs fixing, your door needs rehanging, your plumbing needs sorting, your electrics are playing up a little bit. We're capable of doing this stuff for ourselves. The having to go to work to pay for your basic needs to be met. Now, don't get me wrong, we all need money. I am under no delusion that we can live life without money. But the difference is, if you can meet your basic needs for yourself, then how much money do you need? How much money you need then determines how much you need to work in life. And it also determines what kind of work you do. I'm hoping that opening up the world to my children like this will mean that they can find something that they're interested in and passionate about and be able to earn money that way. But do you know what? Not everyone in life has that. And that's fine. But when you can meet your basic needs, I feel like you might have to go and do that job that is not particularly well paid, or you don't particularly enjoy your time doing that. But it means that you would have to work less and less. When I'm looking around the world, I'm seeing people having to hold down 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to meet their basic needs. Again, something that I feel teaching your children that they have to be non-stop, go, 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 go within the school system is setting you up for. I just don't think that I'm going to let them have my children. Back to the case of humanity, another thing that I think is quite important to teach my children, and they may show absolutely no interest in this, but I think being able to make your own garments, your clothes, your bed sheets, your curtains, these things like that you could do from basic sewing skills will teach you a lot in the world. It will teach you how to be slow, how to take your time, how to really think about what you're trying to achieve. The way that you dress yourself can be such a self-expression, but also it can just be a practical thing. I think if you can make your own clothes and express yourself that way, then that's a great thing. But if it's down to just a practical thing, you also need to understand where this industry sits in the world. If I teach my children, and I say if I teach, I can do basic sewing. I know how to use a sewing machine in a basic way. And this is another thing. I really look forward to learning alongside my children, for us to get our skills up together, showing them that you're never too old to learn something. Learning is a lifelong skill, it's a passion, and it's something that can be really enjoyed. What was I saying? Back to my point of where the fashion industry sits in our society. We don't do fast fashion as a family. The only fast fashion that we might do is secondhand. Apart from that, if I buy something, it does tend to cost quite a lot of money, which means that I can't just buy. There has to be a saving for it. There has to be a purpose to it. I need them to understand that that top that cost a couple of dollars was impossible to make ethically. And I think a real understanding from that is if they spend hours, days, weeks, months making something, then they will pretty much understand that. And that less is more. You don't need something new for every single occasion. And I feel like this will all slip into place if they understand the work that is put into making something. Because I don't know about you, but for me, when something is on my body that I know that people have been taken advantage of, it's done a huge amount of destruction to our planet. It just feels dirty. It doesn't feel right. We could talk about wanting our children to be certain ways, but how are we showing them? So, to end it off, I really look forward to homeschooling because I look forward to our days being our days and us being able to grow as a family together in so many ways. And then having the time for the outside world. I've actually been keeping a week by week audio diary of the emotions and the practicalities of our last term in school. And I look forward to releasing that at the end of the academic year. I hope that you've enjoyed listening, and if you could spare a moment, I'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to write a review and to subscribe so the episodes keep on coming directly to you. Thanks for listening.